Hey, first grade, it's me, Mr. B, and the purpose of this video is to work together on measuring the length of object using non-standard units of length. That's the title of the Blue Arrow page, page 575. 575. There's something about that number. What is, oh, that's right, it's a palindrome. It's the same left to right and right to left. Another point for first grade. All right, so make sure you write your name and your number at the top of page 575. And then for this activity today, hopefully you have some paper clips because that is the unit that we're going to be using. So it says non-standard. That means not normal, not regular. Normally, when we measure length, we use rulers. And starting tomorrow in math, we'll start using rulers to measure inches and centimeters. But for today, we're going to practice using non-standard units of length because sometimes you need to measure length or at least get an estimate, an educated guess, a hypothesis of length, and you don't have a ruler. And it's good to know that you can use other tools or objects to help you measure length. So today I'm going to be using these are what we call standard paper clips. So usually when people use paper clips, there's smaller paper clips and then there's some bigger size paper clips. We are going to use the smaller size paper clips. When you are following along, if you are using bigger paper clips, you will probably get different answers than I get. So if that's what happens, if you don't have smaller paper clips and you have to use the bigger paper clips, please write on your paper up here at the top, write bigger paper clips, so I know that you had to use the bigger paper clips. All right, so the first and number one rule when measuring anything is that you have to line up whatever you're using to measure, you have to line it up on the left-hand side of the object. So on page 575, there's a picture, I think this is a highlighter, and we want to measure the length of the highlighter. So take your first paper clip and put it right up on the left-hand edge so that the edge of the left-hand edge of the paper clip is right with the left-hand edge of the highlighter. Then take your second paper clip, put it right next to the first and make sure it just is touching, but don't move it too much, just touching, okay? So now we've used two paper clips. By the way, here's one of the bigger paper clips that we're not going to use. So now we've used two of the smaller paper clips. And if we put a third one on, it goes way over the edge of the highlighter. So is it closer or more accurate to use two, to say the length is 2 paper clips or 3 paper clips? Yeah, it's closer to 2 than 3. So on your answer line, if you're using the small paper clips, you're going to write about 2. About means close, not perfect, just close. All right. So when you're done measuring the highlighter, remove your paper clips. Let's go to the bottle of poster paint. think is what that is. So again, measure, put your paper clip on the left-hand side of the bottle. So the left-hand side of the paper clip on the left-hand side of the bottle. Okay, now I should say during this video that if you need to pause to follow the directions and then hit play again, please do that as much as you need to. Okay, so after you do 1, do 2, okay, and if you were to do 3, that would be way too big. So again, it's about 2 paper clips, right? Now if you're using the really big paper clips, you'll have to decide whether you think it's going to be 1 or 2. All right, now could you please hit pause and try measuring the paintbrush, the eraser, and the pencil, and the cap of the highlighter, and then see what you get for answers, and then come back and hit play and see what I got for answers, and let's compare. All right, so go ahead and hit pause. All right, so now hopefully you've measured those 4 objects using your paper clips. Let's see. So the cap takes up most of the paper clip, but not all of it. So we're just going to say about 1, because it's closer to 1 than 0. And even if I do a better job of lining it up, it even fills up more of the paper clip. So for the cap of the paper clip, you should have 1. So far 2, 2, 1. Now the paintbrush. Make sure you line it up all the way on the left-hand side. The second one. The third one. All right. Sometimes when you're putting them on, they move around a little. So what do you think? Do you think it's about 2 or about 3? It looks to me like that a little bit more than half of the third paper clip is covered up by the length of the paintbrush. So I'm going to say here, I would say about 3. One of the reasons I'm thinking it's better to say about 3 is because we said these are about 2. And the paintbrush is, you can just visually, if you look, you can see the paintbrush is going to be longer than those 2 objects. And since we said those were 2, and we had a choice between 2 or 3 for this one, I would go with 3. All right. The eraser, let's see, putting it all the way on the left-hand side. There's 1, 2. What do you think? See, the second paper clip, only about a small part of the second paper clip is taken up by the eraser. So I'm going to say, I think it's closer to 1 than 2. So for the eraser, I would say 1. And for the pencil, go all the way to the edge of the pink eraser part of the pencil, because that's part of the pencil too. There's 1, 2, and almost 3. So I would again say 3. Okay? And when you look at the paintbrush, remember we weren't sure if the paintbrush would be 2 or 3, and the pencil, they're pretty close, and we're saying they're both 3. So to recap, we're saying 2 paper clips, 2 paper clips, 1 paper clip, 1 paper clip, 3, and 3. All right. So you see how our measurements, when we're using non-standard, they all say about. That's because it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be about. It's going to be close. One of the really powerful things about math is that your answers, sometimes in math, your answers don't have to be exactly right. Sometimes in life, you just have to get close when you're using math. And measuring is one of those situations where a lot of times you just have to get close. All right, so now please turn the page to page 576, where you can read what you need to succeed. The See and Show box. Let's read it together. It says, you can measure to find the length of an object. Each cube or paper clip is 1 unit. So each paper clip is 1 non-standard unit of measurement. Unfortunately, our counting cubes are back at school, so we had to use paper clips. So if it was counting cubes, it was about 3. Let's see about paper clips. So take your paper clip and put it right on the black line, because the black line is lined up with the edge of the horse's tail. There's 1, 2. So if it was counting cubes, it would be 3 counting cubes. But for paper clips, let me line these up a little more straight. It's about 2. So underneath here, instead of tracing in the 3 cubes, write 2. And if you want, write 2, and you could just write paper clip. Actually, paper clips, because it's plural. Okay, now for the sheep. It's a little hard because the paper is folded, so the paper clip wants to come off, and I don't have 2 hands because one hand is holding the camera, but you can see, I think. Let me get the other one, see if I can do this with one hand. All right, so the second one, line it up. What do you think? Is it closer to 1 or 2? I think it's closer to 1 than 2. So I would say here, we will write 1 paper clip. All right, so for number 1 on page 576, okay, the directions are saying to use counting cubes. Well, we don't have counting cubes, so we're going to use paper clips. So again, take your paper clips and line them up end to end. There's 2. Whoops. 3. Forgive me while I go get some more. Coming back out. So far I got 3, 4, and you can tell there's just a little bit more of the pencil left. So 5 is going to be way too much. So we're going to say about 4 paper clips. So on here you're going to write 4, and above here just write paper clips. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to hit pause and use the paper clips to measure the yellow pencil and the blue pencil. Before we do though, let's see, is the yellow pencil bigger, longer, or smaller than the orange? Right, it's smaller than the orange, so you know your answer is going to have to be less than 4. Okay, and then the blue pencil, is it longer or smaller than the orange? it's longer. So for the blue, you know your answer is going to have to be more than 4. All right, try it on your own and then check back by hitting the play button, and let's see what you came up with for an answer, and we'll compare. All right, so for the yellow, we know it's got to be less than 4, and I'm lining them up. Okay, so far 2 is getting close. Okay, sorry for the camera work there. And for 3, the third one's close to half, but not quite half. I think half is over where my finger is. So I'm going to say that's about 2. So hopefully you wrote 2 and write paper clips. And then for the blue pencil, we know it needs to be, it should be more than 4 because it's bigger than the orange. So first we'll line up the 4, 2, 3. Now, forgive me, I got to hold down the paper with the same hand that's using the camera, that's holding the camera. 4. And about 5, right? About 5. 5 is a little too much, but it's closer to 5 than 4. So your answer for number 3 should be about 5 paper clips. All right. So next we are going to temporarily skip page 577. You'll come back to that in a few minutes. You're going to do page 579 to practice the My Homework page. Read what you need to succeed. So it says to use pennies to measure. But again, I'm going to ask you to use paper clips. So again, measure from the black line to the black line. Write your answers and just write paper clips instead of pennies. Do the same for the dinosaur lizard. Do the same for the football, the baseball bat. Here it says draw an object that's about 6 pennies long. Well, we know that the longest, I don't think you can get 6 paper clips. So if you want to do, you can make it 5 paper clips long, something that's 5 paper clips long. It could be a shape, it could be a picture. And then fill in the words to complete each sentence. The words are unit and, you know that word, our muscle word from yesterday, measure. Then we'll come back and I'm going to ask you to make sure you got your name and number on page 577. Use paper clips to measure the paintbrush, the pencil, the crayon, the bookmark. And then for number 8, look around your house, find an object that is about 4 paper clips long and write the name of that object on the line. When you're done, please have your mom or dad or somebody from home, they can take a picture of just this page and send it to me by email or remind text. All right, thanks a lot, Mathemagicians. Great job.